Hey, happy Sunday. Welcome to your starting over session with your girl, Allison Rozelle, also known as Coach Roz. So, got my hair up. I've been rocking my ponytail a lot lately because number one, my hair is starting to grow like wildfire, and it's starting to get kind of heavy and a bit much on my neck sometimes, and that doesn't really work well with my hot flashes. So I decided that I will start probably wearing my hair up a lot. Um, and I saw some beautiful scarves that I'm probably going to buy so I can start wearing scarves, because now I can do my hair the way I want to because it's long enough. Yay! So, all right. I am here to give you your weekly dose of inspiration and motivation. Um, well, first, let me back up. So, um, first and foremost, we're going to count this as a pre party video. Like a pre-party video, we'll call it that. And the reason why I say that is because we, my lovelies, are about to have a wonderful thing going on together. I'll bring this up so I can see it. But for the next 40 days, we are going to have 40 days of sacred clearing, making space for all things new. Yes. So, 40 days of sacred clearing, making space for all things new. So, there are going to be some topics that we're going to cover and talk about. So, that means I'm going to be going live every day. 40 days. Yes. Or you're going to get a video from me. So there may be some days where I'll do like a pre-recorded video and just post it for you. But I'm going to make an event that I'll put into, on the Coach Roz page, as well as having in the free Facebook group, Empowerment for You. So I'm going to have those things there so you can stay abreast of what's going on. And I'm really excited about doing this, you all, because we're going to be tackling some topics that are near and dear to me. And as starting over women, these are things that concern us and that we're thinking about. So you'll get more details. Tomorrow is actually the first day of the 40s. So that will be day 1 of 40. And I will be posting it just like that. Now, let me say this. I will also be doing lives on Instagram. So if you do not follow me on Instagram and you're on Instagram, start following me. That way you can get all the videos. So on Instagram, it's at Coach _Roz, ROZZ. Okay? At Coach _Roz, and that's ROZZ. All right? Yay. Okay. So, I want to tell you about that. That's the exciting thing I want to tell you about, because I have some things I want to talk about with you all, because as the starting over coach, there are things that I know many of you are dealing with. And there are things that I've been dealing with or that I've dealt with already. And I feel that it's important that I share with you those things. And that way we can kind of sort through them together, right? So that's why we're having that 40 days, 40 days, 40 days of sacred clearing. Yes, of sacred clearing. Making space, making room for all things new, because we want all things new, right? Yes. Okay, just checking. Okay, so as you can see by the title, it's called Leaving Room for the Lord, and lessons or the lesson I got from the movie Quincy. So last night, and I was actually hoping that I would watch this with my son, but he was out. And for those that don't know, he lives in Florida, and he's here visiting the family. So he's been with me, and he's been with his friends, and he's been with his girlfriend, and everything else. So I gotta share him, and it's fine. But I was hoping that he would watch it with me. But he didn't. But I told him about it today, and he said, "Oh yeah, I think I want to watch that." So what it was, I watched the movie Quincy on Netflix, and Quincy is about the legendary, the iconic Quincy Jones. And if you don't know who Quincy Jones is, my suggestion is you check with Google, and a whole bunch of stuff is going to come up. Because people throw out icon and legend around really loosely these days. But I got to tell you, when I think of a legendary icon, Quincy Jones is right up there. So I love his music. I love, the things that he does. He's a philanthropist. He's a teacher. He's just a giver. And he does all these things. And the movie was just so good. It's a documentary. So it's not like a biopic or anything like that. This is an actual documentary done by Rashida Jones, his daughter, and someone else helped her with that. But the great thing about this, because I love documentaries, the great thing about this is he got to tell his own story in his own words. He didn't have, like, unfortunately, a lot of these documentaries get made after the person has passed on. So then you have all these other people telling their version of this person, which can be fine because sometimes, depending on how close they were, to that person, they may know quite a bit of stuff. But it's great to hear from his own mouth and watch the things that he goes through, even while making this documentary. It's incredible, and my hat's off to his daughter for doing this and putting that together. It's 2 hours long, but honestly, I sat through it and I was like, I want more. I want to know more, and it was just really, really cool. So I could go on and on about that movie, y'all. Because like I said, I'm a documentary lover. I love a good documentary. Especially when it's about people, about icons, about history and things like that. That's where I just really love those things like that. So, but I won't sit and talk all about that because I want you to see it for yourself. So I watched that movie, and there was a part of the movie where it was doing kind of like a flashback, because there are a lot of videos of him actually, actually being in the studio and working with people like Michael Jackson and Sarah Vaughan and Miles Davis and Ray Charles and all these different iconic people. But you see him in his studio doing what he does, his craft, his joy, his happy place, because this is what he does and still does. And he's like 82 years old, or he was on the movie. I don't know. I want to say by now he's probably about 83, 84, maybe. I don't know. Don't quote me on that. But anyway, there was a part when he was in his creative process, and he said something that was really, really profound. And it's so funny how sometimes when you hear certain things, you pick it out and it's like, wow, was that message for me? Because I look at stuff like that. Like, if I hear something and it kind of really gets my attention and I'm like, whoa, was I supposed to hear that? Was that for me specifically? So it was one thing that he said in the movie that really got my attention. And this is what he says. He says, I leave, when he's talking about creating his music, he says, I leave at least 20 to 30% of room. I leave at least 20 to 30% of room for the Lord to walk through the room. I leave 20 to 30% of room in what he's doing. Yeah. For the Lord to walk through the room. He says, because that's where the magic happens. That's where the magic shows up. That's when the soul part, the spirit, everything comes together when he leaves that 20 to 30% open. So what I got from that was, okay, so in the 20 to 30% of his creation, he's saying, okay, I know that I can't make this complete by myself. So I need the completer, the author, the finisher to come on through and make this complete and give it the spirit, the joy, the bliss, the love, the everything else that I'm trying to produce with this. I need God to come through. I need him to come through. So when he said that, I was like, oh my God. And and I said it to myself over and over again. I actually rewound that part because I wanted to make sure I was hearing him clearly. He says, I leave at least 20 to 30% of room for the Lord to walk through the room. So in that 20 to 30% that he's left open, he wants God to walk through that, so that God can bring all the pieces together and mesh it the way it's supposed to be. Okay, stick with me. So it hit me like a ton of bricks when I heard it. And then I really started thinking. I was like, okay, so if I'm declaring that I am the co-creator of my life and that God is the creator of all things, right? If I'm saying I'm a co-creator and God is the creator of all things, am I leaving room for God to show up in my life? Think about that. Are you leaving room for God to show up in your life, or are you trying to just do it all by yourself? Let's talk about it. So I really had to think about that, and it really struck a chord with me because I was like, man, I consider myself to be a very spiritual person and in touch and in tune, although I know as a human being I fall short on that often. But the great thing about it is the God that I know is a forgiving God. He is a forgiving God. And side note, you will hear me reference God as He. That's what I know God to be in my life. I have Father God and Mother Earth. That is how I reference. You can call God or address God however that makes you comfortable or that you're accustomed to doing. Okay, so the thing is, again, I'm sitting here doing this work. I'm doing spiritual work. I am a spiritual person. And here I am thinking to myself, now I'm trying to go back and like, okay, these things that I've done, that I've tried to do, that I've actually done, did I leave room for God to come in? Because I don't think that I did. At least not on everything. And I really was sitting and it wasn't bothering me, but it was something I really had to think about. And I want you to kind of think about that too. How much have you done or tried to do on your own and you didn't leave room for God at all? At all. And how did that work out? Because I can say from my own experience, it didn't work out so well. Because again, if I'm the co-creator of my life and God is the creator, doesn't that mean doesn't that mean cooperate? Doesn't that mean collaboration? We're creating this together. Why am I leaving God out? Why have I forgotten to include God in what I'm doing? That was really, really interesting. And so for me, in watching that, after he said that, I was like, wow. When I sit and think about the projects that he's been a part of, like "We Are the World," that iconic song "We Are the World," when I think about the different people that he's worked with throughout his career, what would it have been like if he hadn't left that 20 to 30% open for God to walk in? That's really mind blowing for me. So we're quick to tell God what we're going to do. Mm-hmm. We declare what he is going to do for us. But see, there's one problem with that. We don't go to God in advance. We don't leave room for the author and the finisher to come in and make it do what it do, in the words of Ray Charles, a friend of Quincy Jones, by the way. We are in partnership with God. We are the co-creators of our lives. He is the creator. We are co-creators. My question again to you is, are you leaving room in what you're doing for God? So our task is to move stuff that's not needed out of the way. Move people who are no longer needed out of the way. Push everything that's getting in your way, that you're allowing to obstruct your journey, that's making you get sidetracked and distracted and moved in ways that you're not supposed to be moving, because you have a path, you have an assignment, you have a purpose. So when you get all that stuff out the way, leave 20 to 30% of whatever it is you're doing, of your space, of your time, of your life, so that the Lord can come through with all the magic, all the divine blessings, all the love, all the bliss, all the joy, all the splendor that only God can bring, to bring your creation to completion. To bring your creation to completion. So if you have a project that you're working on for your job, or you have a book that you're writing because you're a writer, you're an author, if you have a blog, if you have videos, if you have a podcast, if you have a coaching business, if you have whatever it is, if you sell Mary Kay, if you sell Avon, whatever you do, leave some space for God to show up and show out in your life. That's the bottom line. You gotta make that room. We have so much clutter, so much crap surrounding us all the time. It's crap in our house, crap in our cars, crap in our phones, crap on our computers, crap at the job. We have all this clutter. We want more, but we won't clear out the space to make room. And the one part of the equation that we gotta make room for is the ultimate God. Have you made room for the Lord to walk through the room? Have you made room for God to walk through and go, here, blessings, blessings. I'm blessing this that you're doing. I'm blessing this house. I'm blessing this car. I'm blessing your work on your laptop. I'm blessing your phone that is going to ring, and it's going to be people who want to, hire you. I'm blessing this. I'm walking through and throwing blessings and giving the things that you have been praying for. And because you are allowing God to come in and be the creator, and you are co-creating, you are one with God, there's nothing you can't do. Nothing. I wish something would come up to say, you can't have it. You can't do it. because it is a lie. It is a lie. It is false. So I encourage you to make room for God. Say this with me. Lord, creator of all things, I apologize for not leaving room for you in my life, for daring to think that I could do this without you. I surrender to your process because it is divine. It is purposeful. It is love. I am leaving room for you and all the blessings you bring. I love you. I thank you. I honor you. I honor me because I am divinely connected to you. I love you. I thank you. Amen. Ashe. And so it is. Yes. So you must go and make sure that you are making room for God. Because if you're not, that's why things aren't going so greatly for you. And I had to accept that for myself because I'm not making room. Because I haven't been making room. That's why things have been kind of not good. But I repented. I surrender. I've prayed for forgiveness. My heart and mind is clear. My intentions are set. My entire being is in alignment with God. And so it is. So that's all I have. So I am so looking forward to these 40 days. So I'll go ahead and tell you, this very first week, we're going to be talking about the empty nest. Yes, we are, because many of us have an empty nest and we need to know what it's time for. So we're going to be talking about some topics dealing with the empty nest. That's all I'm giving you right now. But tune in tomorrow. So again, here's how it's going to work. I'm going to go live on Facebook. I'm also going to go live on Instagram. So the way I'm going to divide this up is Sunday, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, I will be live here on Facebook. Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, I will be live on Instagram. But again, when I create the event, I'm going to put that on there so you'll know where to go and when. Every night, with the exception of Sunday and Saturday, is going to be at 8 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'm not going to be on there long. I've promised myself that I'm only going to be on there at the max 15 minutes, if that. But I will give you all I got. And that is my promise to you. Saturday is going to be in the morning, 10 a.m. Sunday, it's just like now, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, our regular time for our starting over sessions. So I cannot wait for this 40 days because it's going to be so much stuff. You got to tune in because you will miss it. Because there will be some things that I'm going to present to you, that I'm going to offer you, that I will even give to you. So you got to be there. Okay, so that's all I got. Thank you so much for tuning in. Have a wonderful, wonderful evening. I love you, and there's absolutely nothing you can do about that. All right, bye.